Things have happened recently, from shark attacks to rip currents. We're going to get to all the scary things that you need to know about before you visit or move to the Emerald Coast. It's coming up next. All right, let's get to number one, and that's the thing that everybody's talking about this time of year. It is shark attacks, and we just had 3, unfortunately. We're here at mile marker 84 on the west side of Panama City Beach today. Just a mile down the beach this way, the 2 females were attacked, one of them barely surviving that incident, and then a little bit further down, the same day, there was another woman attacked. So there were 3 shark attacks in one day. Very rare for this area. It is scary. Hey, listen guys, anybody that's been in the ocean for a while, it gets really scary out there. You get really get in your thoughts, and when you think about it, you're in their playground. That is their home there. So you have to respect the ocean, you have to respect the creatures that live in it, and you have to realize that when you're out there, you're not the top of the food chain anymore. That being said, shark attacks are very rare. I know we had 3 in one day. It's amazing. I don't know how it happened, and the amount of negative publicity this area received for it is palatable. But let's get down to the facts here, folks. And the fact is, there hasn't been a deadly shark attack in Florida since 2010, when a kiteboarder was attacked and was unable to get assistance quick enough and died due to blood loss. Death by shark attack is super rare. 1 in almost 4 million in the US. So your chances are slim from dying from an actual shark attack. Last year in Florida, there were 16 shark attacks, none fatal. This doesn't mean you shouldn't use precaution when swimming. Here are some things you could do to keep yourself safe. Always stay in groups. When you're out there and you're alone, you look a lot more attracted to a shark. If you're in a big group, you look big, they're not gonna wanna come over and mess with you as much. Most of the attacks that have been seen, it's been with one swimmer out near the second sandbar. The day that the attack happened just down the street here, the young lady and her friends were up between the first sandbar out here and the second sandbar, digging down there for sand dollars. They were getting sand dollars all day. They were having the time of their life when the shark attack happened. So it's very important that when you're swimming in the ocean, you swim with a group of people. Now, that particular day, she did have a friend with her. The friend also was attacked, so that's not an ideal situation. But let it be known, if you have multiple people swimming, you're a lot safer off than just you sitting out there alone. That brings me to my next point, and that is folks that are out in the ocean when the sun is setting. Guys, twilight and the morning time are when sharks and fish in general feed out here. So you definitely want to keep yourself out of danger. Don't be in the water at sunset. It's just not a smart idea. Next, don't enter the water if you're bleeding or if you're menstruating, okay? Sharks have a very keen sense of smell. They can smell just a drop of blood in the water. So if you have any open cuts on you, just be aware that's not a good situation to be in. If you start bleeding, go get bandage up and then you can get back in the water. Wearing shiny jewelry is also something that the sharks are attracted to. Think about a lure. You know, when you see a lure and the fish is attracted to the spinning, flashing part of the lure, same thing out here. When we fish for pompano, we're using white, yellow, red, big flashy colors that will get those pompanos attention. Same thing with these sharks out here. They'll fish by sight. So make sure you have all the shiny objects off of you. You don't want to be confused for a fish, you know, struggling in the water and the shark get confused and accidentally bite your hand. Avoid water with discharges. So this goes for a lot of our inlets. In this area of the world, we have these things called dune lakes, which are incredible natural resources. You don't really want to be swimming when the tide's going out of those dune lakes. Reason being, a lot of the fish, the smaller fish, the bait fish that live inside those lakes act like hatcheries. They'll come out and the sharks will feed out them outside of the inlet. So avoid those areas if you can. Also, if you see a large swarm of fish, if you see birds circling overhead, that's a good sign that feeding is taking place, okay? So if you see a big swarm of bait fish, you want to get out of the water immediately. If those fish are jumping up, something's chasing after them. Chances are here on the Emerald Coast, that thing's a shark. And while there are myths about, you know, dolphins being there to, you know, ward away the predators, that's not necessarily true. It's never been proven. So even if you see dolphins swimming out here, which you do see a lot of dolphins swimming out here, just don't take for granted that there aren't sharks. It's not the case. A lot of time when my family's out here, I actually bring my drone up. I'll pop my drone up before we go out and kind of survey the situation, look where the bait fish are, look where the sharks are at, and you know, make my decision on whether I want my children to swim out there accordingly. Now, I know not everybody has a drone, but it's very helpful if you do. All right, number 2 is the most deadly, and let's talk about this, guys. It's rip currents. The rip currents here in the panhandle of Florida are especially dangerous because a lot of times you can't see them. Even though the water might look smooth on top, there's a rip current that's going underneath. Just this past week in Panama City Beach, there was 8 people that passed away from drowning because they weren't aware of the rip current. They came in from out of town, jump in the ocean, and a lot of people take for granted how powerful the ocean is. If you're not a strong swimmer, knee high is too high when it's red flags out, okay? So there's a flag system here. Double red flags means nobody is in the water. If anybody catches you in the water, any of the beach patrol, they'll give you a $500 ticket, guys. The reason why they do this is because there are rip currents, and the rip currents out here are really strong. Even for the strongest of swimmers, it can pull you all the way out to the 2nd or 3rd sandbar sometimes. It's very hard to get back in at that point. The waves are humongous, and if it's double red flag, we urge everyone to stay out of the water. The reason why they're so strict on it is because it's usually not just the person that gets into trouble that winds up dying. It's the people that try and go out and save them. So guys, it's very important that when you see double red flags, you don't get in the water. No, we're not trying to ruin your vacation. Us locals know better. You trust the officials when it comes to this. Double red flags, don't touch the water. Red flag, knee highs too high. Yellow flags, there's a small undercurrent here. There's always going to be some sort of current. Today we have a yellow flag day at the beach, which is great. You know, you can bring your family. Keep a close eye on your kids though. Even during yellow flag conditions, it means it's moderate risk. You'll never see green flags out on this side of the beach. So the green flags they did away with a while ago. The purple flags are still in play. The purple flags means there's dangerous marine life present. Now that can be sharks. Most of the time it's jellyfish. Here recently we saw the shark attacks. So of course the red were flying. We had a really weird scenario in South Walton where there was a yellow purple, and that meant that the water conditions were great to go in. However, dangerous marine life was present. So nobody is really sure why the sharks came so close to the shore that particular week. But if you see a purple flag, definitely use precaution. Guys, I know a lot of people will talk about the shark attacks, and that will be the main focus of this video. A lot of people want to know about that, but these rip currents are definitely more dangerous than that. Hey, if you like what you're seeing here, we would love if you liked and subscribed to this channel. Also comment below on anything that you think is scary about the Emerald Coast, and maybe I'll hit it up in a future video. And don't forget, if you're looking to move to the area, I'd love to talk to you. I'm a real estate agent here. My wife is a real estate agent here. You can reach me at 850-943-7777. Now let's get to the thing you should be the most afraid of when living on the Emerald Coast. All right, the number 3 reason why you have to be fearful of this area is this road right behind me. This is US Highway 98, also known as Bloody 98. This is where the real fear is, guys. I know we have terrible rip currents and we have sharks, but this is where the real fear lies, guys. This road is so extremely dangerous, even more so when tourists decide to drive golf carts down it. Yes, believe it or not, tourists have been killed many times on this road driving golf carts down it. You are not allowed to take golf carts on Highway 98. Lots of traffic coming through this area. Right now we're at Destin, just past the Destin Bridge over here as you come into town, and it's crazy here. It's a 2-lane street throughout this area. People are riding bicycles, crossing all the time. It's a very dangerous place to be, even more so than the sharks in the water, guys. These are the real sharks out here. We got bars and restaurants lined up all up and down 98, all the way Destin to PCB, and people decide to drive on the road drunk. This is a dangerous situation. You have to always be on your P's and Q's when you're driving on 98. They don't call it Bloody 98 for nothing. All right, guys, the number 4 reason that you should be fearful of being here are lizards and bears and alligators. Oh my! Yes, we do have a lot of wildlife around us because we're surrounded by a lot of forest and natural forest areas. In fact, 30A, if you're staying in that area, 75% of that area is protected forest. So with the forest comes a lot of animals. The lizards don't hurt, they're fine. I just put it in there because I needed to go with something with lions and tigers and bears on mine. We do have bears though.
Our job is to help you get the most money the fastest.
Got it!
Well, I thought you were joking, and then I looked up and I actually saw a bear. Scared me.
I do want you to know that we do have black bears. Black bears, for the most part, fairly tame. I mean, they're cool. They come out, late in the morning. They're looking for garbage for a free meal. Actually, our HOA is so strict about it because we have so many bears roaming our neighborhood that we're not allowed to put our trash can until the night before trash pickup, and they're very strict about getting it in. We can't have them outside of our garage at all. So just be aware, black bears are out. Haven't heard of any black bear attacks. Sure, maybe at some point it's probably happened. Alligators, yeah, you have to watch out for, okay? So use common sense when you're walking your small pets, when you have kids around a body of water. We have a lot of lakes here. Definitely be on the lookout for alligators. What I've noticed from alligators, and we've actually gone on excursions where we try to go look for them in the wild, is they're way more afraid of you than you are of them. So just use caution when walking small pets, and that's about the best I could tell you. Hey, do you got something that you think that we should be fearful of? Post in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you have to say. All right, another thing you can be scared of here, and a lot of people are, needlessly so, are the spring breakers. At Panama City Beach did have the reputation back in the day of being a party beach. That is not the case anymore, guys. In the month of March, they will write a ticket for anybody out here that has a beer in their hand. Any kind of alcohol, you get a $500 ticket. So just be aware in the month of March, no spring breakers. They kicked all the spring breakers out, and it's great. The only week that we have a really tough week with spring breakers would be Atlanta. When Atlanta goes on spring break, and they still do come in here in droves for Atlanta spring break. For the most part, though, it's not like it was in the MTV days down here. Spring breakers, not really something you need to be worried about. Something you could be worried about, these waters. Woo, look what I've been walking on. That's beautiful, man. I mean, sharks, spring breakers, doesn't matter. When you're walking on sand like this, you gotta love it. All right, we're now up to number 6 on the dangerous things you could do at the beach. And I know digging in the sand doesn't seem like it could be a dangerous thing. I mean, kids are doing it all the time. These guys right behind me are doing it right now. It can be very dangerous. In fact, there was a little girl last year who passed away, sadly. Her and her brother were digging a hole just like these guys were back here. The rule is it can't be larger than 2 feet. 2 feet across, 2 feet down. Unfortunately, this young girl that was digging with her brother, both her and her brother were trapped by the sand. Their parents were there. Everybody on the beach was freaking out. They went to go try and save the little girl, and they couldn't. It was a terrible ending to a tragic day. So I know it sounds silly, digging holes is a bad thing, but it actually is dangerous, and we lost a person last year to it. I don't want you to be the next person. Visit our beaches, have a great time here. Make sure you clean up after yourself and fill up all the holes you dig. Here roaming the beach today, and I have a young lady that has a question. What's your question?
Why is there so much construction on 98?
Why is there so much construction on 98? Because people keep moving here. And we love it. No, we love you moving here. Hey, if you're looking to make a move to the Emerald Coast, make sure you give me a shout. My name is John Arroyo. My number is 850-943-7777, or you can reach me at john@rubyredmedia.com. All right, guys, the number 7 reason why you should be fearful when you visit this area is hurricanes. Now, the good thing about hurricanes is they let you know they're coming. As far as the natural disasters are concerned, I think it's the least concerning of them all because you can actually get out of its way. Right now we have a huge hurricane churning in the Caribbean, and we have forecast models. There's a guy that has Mike's weather page. It's a great resource if you want to follow hurricanes, but they have the tracking down really good on this, guys. It's not like a tornado when it just pops down on you. It's not like an earthquake. You get plenty of advance warning when there is going to be a hurricane. Now, are they catastrophic in damage? Yes, of course they are. So while they are dangerous, it's not a huge negative to living here. We're very few times have we gotten hurricanes in this area, and the times that we have, blessed be Hurricane Michael, with the exception in Panama City, its area has been relatively untouched by the big hurricanes. So yes, they are a possibility. But yes, you do have time to get out of the way, and that, my friends, is a blessing. All right, let's get to number 8. But before we get to number 8, just want to show you what I'm walking through right now. Although it might be dangerous here, you are living in paradise, my friends. Paradise. Never forget it. All right, the number 8 reason why you should be very afraid to move here. It's scary, guys. And I'm gonna tell you, this is probably the scariest one that we have. Lightning. People take it for granted here. They don't take it seriously. And I've heard from so many locals. I've heard from The horror stories of the pier getting hit. The pier gets hit all the time over here in Panama City Beach. What happens is these storms come into the land. There's nothing for them to hit out there in the ocean, okay? So it's striking randomly out in the ocean. As soon as it gets out here on land, it starts striking things. I have a friend of mine that owns Hook Pier Bar down the street. Him and his wife were hanging out, doing some paperwork one day, watching the fishermen come off the pier, and they were coming off the pier because there was a weather warning that there was thunderstorms in the area. They saw a gentleman get struck by lightning on the pier. Thank God the guy made it out alive. Very scary story though. They were the first ones to call EMS. They did revive the man. It was a very scary scene for a lot of people there on the pier.
And there was 2 men walking down the pier, and lightning struck the first time a little bit behind them and missed, and they kind of hunkered down. And then within about 5 or 10 seconds, the second one hit, and it actually struck one of the men. And it was a pretty bad situation.
Guys, if there is a chance that there's a thunderstorm coming, you have to keep your eye on the weather. You have to be aware that lightning can strike you, and it will strike you here on the Emerald Coast. That's a big fear to have. And I gotta tell you, after hearing that story about the guy on the pier, I'm super scared. All right, we're more than halfway through. We are at the number 9 reason you should be fearful of the beach. And I'm standing right in front of the Shrimp Basket, one of Destin's most beloved restaurants. But things have changed in the recent years. In fact, the FDA is really cracking down on the consumption of raw oysters. Now, if you're like me, you're like, it's worth the risk. I could die. It's fine. Listen, I love raw oysters, but the FDA is saying because the water's more polluted now, you need to be more careful about eating raw shellfish. So just keep in mind, yes, there is a danger there. Yes, people do die from it. Here are some statistics on eating raw seafood. There was a recent case of a 54-year-old man in Missouri who died after eating raw oysters. Since the oysters had not been cooked, the bacteria would have still been alive when he ate the oysters. The infection is called vibriosis, and it can cause symptoms like nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, fever, and chills. In more severe cases, it can cause flesh-eating infections. However, dying from fibrosis is pretty rare. According to the CDC, about 80,000 people in the United States are infected with fibrosis a year. Only 100 people die from it. Will I still eat raw oysters? Why, yes, I will. I also hang out in the ocean and play with sharks, so there's that. What is your favorite way to eat oysters? Leave them in the comments below. I want to know how you like eating those slimy little boogers. All right, we're up to number 10, and the number 10 deadliest thing about living on the Emerald Coast are jellyfish. Ooh. Now, jellyfish are more annoying than anything. A lot of what you'll see down here on the Emerald Coast are moon jellies. So they're these giant white things. Those guys don't sting you. They're not going to hurt you. But the thing that eats them does, and that's called a pink meanie. And the pink meanies have that name for a reason. Pink meanies are not fun to run into. They're really prevalent, and the later part of summer, early part of fall, you'll see a bunch of pink meanies out here. The good news is they're relatively easy to spot in our emerald green waters. You'll see one and be like, oh, there's a pink meanie. I always tell my girls pink meanie, and they're on high alert. Oh, there's a pink meanie over there. Pink meanies are bad. They do sting, but the one you want to watch out for is the man of war. If you run into a man of war, it's going to be a bad day, possibly a deadly day for you. A lot of people are allergic to the venom they have, and it can cause death. If you see a man of war on the beach, use extra caution out there. Good news is they float on top of the water with their bubble, so you can kind of see them coming a little bit. Keep your eyes peeled while you're out there, guys. While you're out on the beach, I always tell my girls this: never turn your back to the beach. Always be facing the ocean, be looking out, and being aware of what is around you will save you a lot of hassles. Now 99 times out of 100, there's nothing out there, but it's always good to be aware. Situational awareness when there's waves as well. Something I didn't talk about during riptides that I do want to bring up: when there is a riptide and you feel yourself get caught in one, the most important thing you can do is relax. If you put enough air in your chest, you'll float. So just float, let the tide do with what it's going to do to you, and then swim to where you see the waves breaking. If you're in a rip current, it's pushing you out, and what you want to do is let it push you out until you see a way to get out. And as soon as you see those waves breaking close to you, that's where you want to swim to. Swim to those waves. The waves will push you back in. You'll be out of the rip current. The main thing is stay calm and respect the ocean. All right, for number 11 today, we are in Captain Leonard State Park. This place is absolutely beautiful. A hidden gem here in Destin. Definitely need to check this out if you got kiddos. They'll love the area. Number 11 is the terrible and angry biting flies. Not deadly, but irritable. You may wish that you were dead when a big patch of no-see-ums come and get you. No-see-ums are these little bitty microscopic bugs. You can't even see them, but all of a sudden you start itching. You have all these red spots over you. It's terrible. The biting flies, on the other hand, are obnoxious, and they'll come around you and they will land on you, and they look like a prehistoric creature. These guys are not fun. Not deadly, but not fun. We went through the ways to combat these terrible little creatures in earlier videos. The thing my family likes to use is Swamp Gator. You can find it at Ace Hardware stores anywhere across the country. Swamp Gator is the one thing that we found that will combat these little terrors and help you stay bug-free throughout the summer. So while not deadly, biting flies and no-see-ums are definitely something you need to look out for if you're here on the Emerald Coast. Hey, if you like what we're doing, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're thinking about moving to the Emerald Coast, we'd love to help you out. Our relocation team helps hundreds of families every year relocate to this beautiful part of the world. My number is 850-943-7777, or you can reach me at john@rubyredmedia.com. Let's get to number 12. All right, now it's time for the number 12 reason why you should be fearful of moving here, and that would be motorcycle accidents. Guys, there's a lot of motorcyclists here, especially in the Panama City Beach area. Not so much so in Destin. In 38, they have lots of noise ordinances, and the bikes aren't allowed in any of the towns there, or they get pulled over and given a hefty ticket. But here in Panama City Beach, man, the scene is alive. They have a big rally, a motorcycle rally called Thunder Road that happens every year, and it attracts thousands and thousands of people from all over the country. But guys, I can't stress to you how dangerous it is for some of these guys. They come out here and they're not wearing helmets. They're going out to bars, they're drinking, and they are not taking it serious. The problem is you got a lot of people on here on 98 that already drive poorly. You mix that in with a little bit of alcohol and no helmet on, you're looking for disaster. Every year we have at least a couple fatalities during Thunder Road, so please use precaution. If you are drinking, take advantage of the Ubers here. There's many Ubers available to you. In 2021, there were over 6,000 motorcycle crashes in Florida and 182 motorcycle fatalities, up from 158 in 2020. Last year, there were 8,625 motorcycle crashes. 583 of those were fatal, an increase of about 14% from the previous year. So motorcycle riders, please use precaution. All right, we're gonna get up to the number 13 reason, but before I do, if you like what you're seeing here, please hit that like and subscribe button. If there's anything that scares you about moving to our area, please comment below. All right, let's get back to it. The number 13 reason you can consider this area Fear Beach is drunken boating. Guys, drunk driving's bad enough. Drunken boating is even worse. Right behind me, you have the beautiful world famous Crab Island. Guys, I can't tell you how many times I've seen people pulled over out here. You know, people think they're gonna go out, have a good time, rent one of the pontoon boats, which you can do without a captain, go out there and have a few, and a few turns into too many. It's really easy to do out there, and they wind up going home on probation. That's fear. Another fear that you have when you're drunk boating is getting into the accident. Guys, this water, even though it's the most beautiful water you'll ever see, is very unforgiving. There are currents that are right off of Crab Island that sweep people out all the time. Also, you have to be very careful because when you are actually anchoring out there, you're crossing a lot of other boats up. If you're not an experienced boater, make sure you get a captain for your boat. I wish I had the statistics to tell you how many people leave on probation from leaving Crab Island intoxicated, but the number is absolutely staggering. All you have to do is go to AJ's, watch the boats come in, and I mean, it is pumping. People are coming off Crab Island, having the time of their lives. That's fine. We want everyone to have a great time out here. We want everybody to be safe. Just make sure you have a designated driver. It's not worth going to jail. It's not worth hurting yourself or others around you. All right, the number 14 reason why you might be fearful about moving to the Emerald Coast is, well, drunk driving. It's a fact of life down here, guys. There are bars all up and down 98, and people come here on vacation and they leave on probation, as the saying goes. Just so you know, the cops are out here. We have a very heavy police force actively looking for drunk drivers all throughout Destin, 38, and here in Panama City Beach. There are bars up and down this whole area, and people go in and drink at them. They get in their cars and they are not thinking correctly when they get on the road. So please use precaution. It is very important for you to be a defensive driver here. I just know that people, when they're on vacation, generally act invincible, and it's the scariest thing in the world when you live here, knowing that you have to deal with that every day. So just be aware, drunk driving is not tolerated here. Florida has some of the most strict drunk driving laws there are in the country. Florida law enforcement wrote an estimated 44,000 DUI citations in 2023. The penalty for driving drunk here in Florida is at least $500 and up to $1,000 plus jail time. You may be in prison for up to 6 months and your driver's license suspended. Your license may be suspended for up to 180 days. And yes, when they say come on vacation, leave on probation, they mean it. Just because you have to go back home doesn't mean that the DUI disappears. That will follow you into your home state. Please use precaution, guys. If you're going out to have a good time, just make sure you have a sober ride home. Over 44,000 DUIs last year here in Florida alone. They don't deal with it. Please don't get on the road intoxicated. All right, we're here, guys. The last one on the list. It is number 15, and it is golf carts. It's one of the most deadliest things you can do is rent golf carts here. Right behind me, you will see a golf cart rental place. There's a lot of places like this on the beach. Use caution within these golf cart, guys. A lot of people think that you get in a golf cart, you can't get a DUI. They'll get hammered. They'll drive all around. They'll make stupid decisions. I can't tell you how many times I see them riding around on 98 here. It is against the law to have golf carts on 98. You do not want to be in a golf cart in 98. That has ruined a lot of people's vacations in a very bad way. Another thing I want to warn you about, guys, is to check the Google reviews of any golf cart shop that you rent from. There are some golf cart shops here that have been accused of doing some wrong things. I don't want you to be a victim of that. Make sure you check out the Google reviews, make sure they're highly recommended, and do your due diligence when renting a golf cart. And always, always be safe. Know that you can get a DUI on one, okay? And with those kids on there, I've seen way too many kids almost falling off of one. Make sure the kids are safe, guys. Hey, overall, it's dangerous here, but it's much safer than living in Memphis. I'd take this any time of day over living in Memphis, Tennessee, which is where me and my family came from. If you have any questions about moving to the area, please call me. My name's John. My number is 850-943-7777, or you could email me, john@rubyredmedia.com. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Comment below with any comments, and watch this video right here. It's all about the reasons why I love this area. It doesn't get near as many views when I say how much I love something, but make sure you check that out and see why I love this area so much. We'll see you next time.